Hey, what's going on, everybody? Mr. Harvey here. Let's continue our lecture, Chapter 4, The Religious Wars. Now, today we're going to be focusing on Spain. Okay, and while we're talking about Spain, I want to talk about a couple things. Not only do I want to talk about their involvement in religious wars, we're going to be talking about the Netherlands, England, but I also want to talk about this golden age of Spain. That this is Spain kind of reaching the apex of its power during this time in the 1500s and 1600s, and then we're going to kind of see Spain, the fall of Spain, really losing a lot of power. So let's kind of talk about Spain and some of the developments with Spain during this time. Okay, now this golden age of Spain, ladies and gentlemen, and Spain is a really important country for us to like, and I've talked about this during first semester. It's really powerful, and that power, they started to gather that power under Ferdinand and Isabella, who we spoke about, that the consolidation of that monarchy in Spain under Ferdinand and Isabella, the Reconquista. Spain also during this time was getting involved in the age of exploration and starting to accumulate this vast overseas empire, all those colonies in the Americas. This golden age of Spain, Spain is really, gaining a lot of power. They're on a militaristic level, on a financial level, on a political level. Spain is a powerful country and one that is a power to be reckoned with. Okay, and this golden age of Spain is really going to reach kind of its zenith, really reach kind of the apex of this power under Philip II. All right. Now, it's important for me to kind of remind y'all of some important families that we've met so far. Okay, these hereditary monarchies. All right, and what that means, ladies and gentlemen, a hereditary monarchy is the crown is going to be passed down through families. Okay, the crown is passed on to the king and queens have children, and it's going to be passed on through those children. Okay, and the families that we've focused on so far are the Habsburgs. That's Charles V, and the Habsburg family during this time is in control of the HRE. Spain, territory in Austria. We just met the Bourbons earlier in the previous lecture. Henry IV, excuse me. Okay, so no longer are the Valois family kind of really important to us because they've lost power, and we are going to be talking about the Bourbon family. And the Bourbon family, when it comes to France, is really important for us. We're going to meet Louis XIV. He's going to be kind of the symbol of absolutism in Europe with his Palace of Versailles, and I am the state, I am France. Really important. And we're going to meet also Louis XVI, where the monarch, where the French Revolution kind of starts under his reign. And we've talked about the Tudors. Okay, and during the Protestant Reformation, the Tudor family, very important. Okay, all the way up from Henry VII, Henry VIII, Edward VI, Mary, and Elizabeth. So these are some of the families, ladies and gentlemen, that you should be familiar with so far. Okay, we haven't met the Romanov family yet, the Hohenzollern family. We haven't met a couple other families, but we will. Okay, and these families during this time, ladies and gentlemen, the Habsburg, Bourbons, and Tudors are competing with one another for power and territory in Europe. Okay. Really important for us to know these families. Okay, the family that we're going to be focusing on today will be the Habsburgs. Okay, Charles V, really powerful Habsburg. Okay, he was the ruler of the HRE during this time. All right, and if we remember, Charles V, Protestant Reformation, he was the one who went toe to toe with Martin Luther and lost, and had to make peace with the Protestants. If we remember, 1555. Peace of Augsburg, Cuius Regio Ius Religio, the leader of the land determines religion. He really had to give up the goal of the HRE being completely Catholic. And, that took a toll on Charles V, and he is going to, when his reign is over, he is going to split up the empire. Okay, he's going to give half of the empire to his brother, Ferdinand. He's going to keep kind of the HRE portion of it in Central Europe. And he's also going to give the Spain portion in the west, Spain, Netherlands, parts of Italy, and the vast overseas empire of Spain to his son Philip. And we're going to be focusing on Philip during this time as we're focusing on Spain. Okay, let's talk about Philip, or as I like to call him, Phil. All right, under Philip II, Spain was definitely 100% a powerful country. And Philip wanted to, add to that power. He wanted to increase the power of Spain, for Spain, but also his family. He was very Catholic. He saw himself as a defender of Catholicism, and we're going to see him get involved in some religious wars trying to, keep his territories Catholic and continue to, promote Catholicism throughout the world. He was a very cautious man, very hardworking, very suspicious of others. But something really important to know about Philip was that he was a believer in absolutism, and he is a model of an absolute monarchy. And this is important because we are going to be getting into these different political systems and political models, and where we're going to see countries kind of go different ways, and kind of a divergence of political systems in Europe. We're going to see England under the Tudors and Parliament fight it out, and we're going to see the development of a constitutional monarchy. The Netherlands is not going to have an absolute monarchy. They're going to be more of like a republic type system, a representative system. Versus we're going to see Spain and other countries like France develop, absolutism, and really, have where these monarchs are, in control of everything. They are the government. They are the state. And Philip was definitely a believer in absolutism, and he symbolized an absolute monarchy. And we'll talk more about absolutism in chapter 5. During his reign, Madrid is going to become the capital. And Philip, and this is kind of, this is very much a theme amongst our absolute rulers, is Philip is going to project his power. And he's going to build himself a palace called the Escorial to demonstrate his power. This is considered Baroque art. I'm going to talk about this again in, I believe, the next chapter, where absolute monarchs are going to build these, incredibly beautiful and extravagant palaces to project power. And we talked about Baroque art with the Catholic Church during the Counter-Reformation to project power, but this is going to be another kind of part of Baroque art, is these absolute monarchs projecting power. And Philip did that. He built his own palace. Let me show you a picture of it, the Escorial, to showcase his wealth, and his power. Okay, his standing. All right. And during his reign, ladies and gentlemen, the economy of Spain is just going to flourish. There is tons of gold and silver and wealth pouring in from the colonies. Spain is a leader of this mercantilist system that is developing with the colonies and the Atlantic economy. Spain economically is very much flourishing. However, and we talked about this, there is a weakness of Spain, and it is their unwillingness to change and accept new ideas, and we're going to talk about that, the brain drain that's going to be going on with the Inquisition, of them kicking out people with divergent ideas and other ideas, and that ultimately is going to be a contributing factor to their downfall. But they're not there yet, okay? And there's Philip's Escorial, very important for us. All right, now, Philip is going to kind of, his economic, plan is pretty straightforward. He's going to tax the peasants, gain as much wealth from the New World as possible. He's going to, really put that mercantilist system into full effect, and really try to, gain as much power through the New World as he can. Okay. He organized his nobility into a very loyal and efficient bureaucracy, and similar to Ferdinand and Isabella, he harnessed the nobility. He was in complete control. He had the power. There was no check on his power. Okay, and so power was very centralized around Philip, and he made all the decisions for Spain. All right, very important for us to understand about him religiously. Okay, it's one word. Catholic, okay? And he was very, very, very concerned with, different groups, being in his country. He did not want Protestants. He did not want Jews or Muslims in his country. Any group that was not Catholic, he was not cool with, okay? And so he supported the Inquisition in Spain big time, okay? And remember, we know this about Spain and the Inquisition. All right, we know this about Spain. Okay, if you were not a Catholic, you had 3 choices. Okay, in terms of what you could do in Spain, you could either get out, convert, or die. All right, and this is going to be a contributing factor to their downfall, because we're going to see very wealthy Protestants, Jews, Muslims go to other countries and bring not only their money and their labor with them, but their skills and their talents and their new ideas. And this this unwillingness to be open to new ideas, okay, is going to be a fundamental flaw within Spain. Okay, so really important for us to understand that. Remember, Philip was a defender of Catholicism, and he was not accepting to other religious ideas. Okay, Spain during this time is going to be vying for supremacy in the Mediterranean. This isn't super important, ladies and gentlemen, but this is going to be. I just quickly want to talk about this because this kind of is, part of a pattern with Philip. Okay, is that he Spain is going to jump to join conflicts of anything that threaten their power, as opposed to be patient, kind of see how things go. And we're going to see Spain, get involved in all these different religious conflicts and really kind of spread themselves thin. And that's going to be a contributing factor to their decline. So one instance in where they're kind of vying for supremacy is in the Mediterranean Sea. In the 1500s, they're going to check the Ottoman Turks, okay, a Muslim empire, okay, and under Don John, an illegitimate son of Charles V, he's the half brother to Philip. We're going to see this Holy League of Spain, Venice, Genoa. The papacy is going to challenge the Turks in the Mediterranean Sea, and this is really religious because it's this Holy League of Catholic supporting groups kind of fighting the Muslim Turks of the Ottomans. Okay, he defeats the Turks in the Battle of Lepanto, giving Spain more control over the Mediterranean Sea. He's going to suppress the Portuguese and inherit the throne. So again, projecting power. Okay, a big part of Philip. All right, but I'm kind of alluding to is we're going to see him kind of get into some conflicts religiously and politically that's going to eventually lead to the end of this golden age for Spain. This is the first one I want to talk about, okay? The Revolt of the Netherlands. Now, we need to know where the Netherlands are, right? That they are part of the Low Countries, right above Belgium. And during this time, both Belgium and the Netherlands are called like the territory of the Netherlands, all right? And they were ruled by Spain. Okay, this is one of the richest territories in the Spanish Habsburg territory in Europe. And in the north, okay, of the Netherlands, the northern Netherlands were very independent. And but the issue that Philip was really concerned about was the Calvinism. They were very Calvinist influenced territories in the Netherlands, and that's a big no-no with Philip, right? We know that about Philip, okay? He's not cool with that, all right? And so he's going to try to reimpose Catholicism in the northern part of the Netherlands, and we're going to see a fight break out. One of the first things we start to see with the Spanish, okay, is Cardinal Grenville, Catholic figure, head of the Council of the State in the Netherlands. He's going to try to check Protestants in the Netherlands, okay? And his goal was to create this more of a centralized connection from Madrid to the Netherlands and kind of break down any of the local governments, any of the Protestant governments, and just try to create a more religious line of control from Spain to the Netherlands. Okay, now. An important person that we're going to be meeting, another important family, is House Orange. Okay, William of Orange, and we're going to meet a couple of them. William of Orange, all right, is really important, and he's a very important figure in the Netherlands, and he and this Count of Egmont are going to oppose Grenville and eventually have him removed from office. Okay, and we're going to see Philip, again, in the spirit of Catholicism, try to enforce Catholicism on the Netherlands. And Philip's not backing down, but neither are the Netherlands. And we kind of can see what's going to go down here, okay? There's going to be some serious fighting going down, all right? And we're going to see the northern Netherlands, this kind of call for this covenant called the Compromise. And they're going to pledge to resist the decrees of Philip and resist this Catholicism. And we can kind of see the clouds gathering over the Netherlands. Philip is, getting ready for a fight, but so are the Netherlands and so are the Calvinists. And this is going to be a big problem for Philip. Okay, so Philip is going to send the Duke of Alba, all right, to suppress the Netherlands. And we are going to see Philip is really gonna put his foot down and try to suppress the Protestants and really engage the Protestants in violence. And during the Duke of Alba, it's a 6-year rule. He's gonna execute thousands of heretics, any religious dissenters, and most of them are Protestants. This, ladies and gentlemen, this move is going to be, almost equivalent to the Saint Bartholomew's Day massacre that we saw in the French Wars of Religion. The Protestants in Netherlands this issue is no longer just like religious or political. It is fighting for your life, and we are going to see the Protestants in the Netherlands. This really kind of ratchets things up. They are going to be like, hey, this is getting out of control. This is dire. We are fighting for our lives here. It's really going to strengthen their resolve. Another implication of this, ladies and gentlemen, that's really important is that we are going to see England react really negatively and Elizabeth react really negatively to the Duke of Alba. Elizabeth actually saw the Duke of Alba and kind of going up there as Philip getting ready to stage an invasion of England. And so this is going to put England on high alert, and England is not going to like what's going down there. And remember, England during this time is Protestant. Okay, they're a very moderate form of Protestantism, and they're actually going to be helping the Netherlands in this. And that's kind of getting a little bit ahead of ourselves, but that's going to lead to some bad relations between Philip and Spain and England and Elizabeth. Okay, Philip also during this time is going to heavily tax the Netherlands, and he's really trying to really trying to put the hammer down on them financially, politically, and on a military level, just really executing them, killing them. But it's not going to work. Okay, we're going to see William of Orange. He will have been exiled during this time. He's going to return from exile, and now he's not just this movement, and this is an important theme within the religious wars, ladies and gentlemen. Is this movement is no longer just about religion. It's going to be political, and it's going to be fighting for survival. And he's going to help lead the Dutch to fight for political independence from Spain. And he is going to have a lot of support now from a lot of the other provinces in the Netherlands. We're going to see the northern Calvinist provinces unite: Holland, Zeeland, and Utrecht. Like I said before, they're going to be receiving international support from Queen Elizabeth of England. And this is now, turning into this huge conflict, and Spain is, involved in all these different conflicts, religious conflicts going on in Europe, and this is kind of just blowing up in their face a little bit. We're going to see Spanish mercenaries with no leader start to murder the Dutch in the 1570s during a revolt, and this is going to lead to an initial unification called the Pacification of Ghent of the Catholic provinces and the Protestant provinces, and this is called the Union of Brussels. And so all of the Netherlands is now uniting against Spain. Okay, now this union will eventually fail, but we are seeing Spain, similar to Catherine de Medici, and Philip, similar to Catherine de Medici, really lose control of the situation. Really losing control of the situation. Okay, now the Union of Brussels will fail, and we're going to see two different unions kind of come out of that. The Union of Arras, where the southern provinces will break from the northern provinces and reunite with Spain. Those southern provinces, ladies and gentlemen, that I'm talking about are going to be the modern day Belgium. Okay, and the northern provinces will unite under the Union of Utrecht, and that will be modern day Netherlands. But we are seeing, the Protestants are not backing down. Okay, the Protestants are not backing down. And while the southern provinces, stay with Spain, the north is, with William of Orange, is digging in, and they are ready for a fight, and they are, they are ready to die for their cause, and they are not backing down from Philip. All right, Spanish efforts to reconquer the Netherlands are going to continue into the 1580s. But the northern Dutch are going to continue to resist. They are not going to back down, and Spain is going to, get involved in even other affairs that are going to be going on. Eventually, the northern Dutch are going to drive out the Spanish, and their independence will be recognized by the English and the French. And the Netherlands will be officially recognized in the Treaty of Westphalia in 1648. Those northern Protestant provinces will be, I put B twice, will be officially recognized. But Spain is kind of going to get, during the late 1500s, early 1600s, they're going to get involved in more religious conflicts. And again, this is going to, at the same time that they're getting in a fight with the Netherlands, they're going to be getting in a fight with England. Later on in the 1600s, they're going to join the 30 Years' War. They're getting involved in all these conflicts, ladies and gentlemen, and really, these conflicts are just going to blow up in their face, and they're really this is going to lead to their decline. Okay, but this is one of the first episodes where they lose. Okay, and they lose the Netherlands. All right, and they lose this religious war. And this is kind of represented. This is one of the L's that we call in class. This is one of the L's that they're going to be taking during the 1500s and 1600s. And really, this is kind of going to be one of the episodes that illustrates the decline of their power. But the Netherlands will be recognized, will be independent in 1648, Treaty of Westphalia. Now, we need to talk about the Spanish Armada. This is another L that they're going to be taking. So they're going to be losing the Netherlands. They're going to be losing that war of independence to the Netherlands, okay? And they're also going to lose a fight to England, okay? Now, the fight between the English and Spanish is very complex, okay? So let's just focus on the basics, okay? The English were increasingly troublesome for Philip, okay? On multiple levels, religious levels, political levels, okay? The Spanish were very upset that the English had supported the Dutch in their revolution, but the English were also challenging the Spanish for naval power, okay? Philip was also, and we'll talk about some of the tensions, but Philip was also very salty because Elizabeth did not want to marry him. Philip had been married to Mary I, Elizabeth's half-sister, but Elizabeth wanted nothing to do with him, and he was not happy about that. So in 1586, he is going to decide to invade England and overthrow Elizabeth, and he's going to devote all the resources and the majority of the resources to prepare for this invasion for 2 years, and he is going to launch the Grand Spanish Armada, 130-ship fleet with thousands of soldiers, which is going to go to the English Channel and try to invade England. Now, Philip and Elizabeth did not want to, necessarily go to a war, but they eventually are going to kind of be forced to, okay? And let's talk about the tensions that lead to this conflict, all right? Number one is religion, okay? The tensions are going to rise when Elizabeth is going to reverse, the Catholicism in England, and Philip did not like that, right? We know that Philip is a defender of Catholicism. He is not stoked with Protestants, and he is not accepting to Protestants in his own country and abroad. And so he sees that, and he does not like that, and he wants Elizabeth to be and make England Catholic. Okay, so that's definitely a key tension between the two. Another one is marriage, right? Elizabeth also does not want to marry him. All right. The support of the Netherlands, that was really, really, really upsetting to Philip, and that really is going to be another kind of key facilitator in why they're going to fight. And Elizabeth is supporting the Netherlands because she thought, in her mind, that Philip was getting ready to invade England with the Duke of Alba. She thought that was a staging area for invasion. Elizabeth's excommunication by the Pope, because she is going to, with her Elizabethan settlement, is another kind of illustration, facilitator in the tensions between this Protestant and Catholic, the Protestantism and Catholicism. England is going to symbolically align themselves closer to France, and that's really going to make Spain upset because now you have two major powers kind of looking like they want to gang up on Spain. We're going to see Elizabeth, once tensions really are out there, and once it's almost like the war is inevitable, we're going to see the English send out some of their ships, like Sir Francis Drake, to start pirating and preying on Spanish shipping. But another key reason of why relations between the two are going to break down is Elizabeth executes a major Catholic leader in her cousin, Mary, Queen of Scots. And so Philip decides, enough is enough. we're going to fight it out. And again, and this is showing on a bigger picture, this is a Catholic country, Spain, versus a Protestant country, England. Okay, so the Spanish Armada, 1588, this massive fleet is going to move to invade England, and it's going to be destroyed by the English and a storm. They're going to sail into some really fierce weather in the English Channel, and that's something that's really important, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to talk about the kind of the legend of the English Channel. Napoleon won't be able to cross it. Philip II won't be able to cross it. And Hitler won't be able to cross it. And it's very rough weather. It's a very rough channel of water, and his fleet is going to be destroyed by the combined strength of the weather and the English Navy. Now, something really important is that the English had better ships. They had more advanced weaponry, better cannons, quicker ships. And during this time, warfare on the ocean in the English Channel, I mean, it's very slow because you're relying on the wind. And speed is an essential element of naval warfare during this time, being able to, get into the wind and move around really quickly. And so the English ships were, more advanced, quicker, better equipped. And this is a major, major, major victory for the English, okay? It gave hope to Protestants all over. And I've talked about this before, but also this signaled the rise of England as a world naval power. And from 1588, ladies and gentlemen, all the way until 1945, England is going to be the predominant naval power. And this is really representing the end of Spanish supremacy in the ocean, okay? But also, this is a big victory, Protestant versus Catholic country, a victory for a Protestant country over a Catholic country, and very symbolic. Very symbolic victory when it comes to religion. All right, and here's a famous painting of the fight over the Spanish Armada in the English Channel. Devastating defeat for Philip, embarrassing defeat for Philip, and embarrassing defeat for Catholics and Spain. Okay, now, ladies and gentlemen, after the Spanish Armada, after the revolt of the Netherlands, those are two significant losses for Spain. And we are going to see over time, ladies and gentlemen, that their empire is really going to experience a decline, okay? Economically, they borrowed large amounts of money to support all these wars, all these conflicts that Philip and the Spanish monarchy and government is getting involved in, okay? They had a lot of money from the New World, but they kept borrowing money. That's going to lead to an inflated currency, okay? And really lead to some economic problems for them. We talked about this, that inflated currency. We talked about that price revolution, the higher price of goods in Spain. But also, economically, the Inquisition is going to be having severe effects on Spain. The loss of middle-class Jews and Protestants and Muslims or Moors, okay? They're going to be taking all of their skills, all of their wealth and talent elsewhere. And so Spain is going to be experiencing this exodus of talent and money. And this is really going to hurt them, ladies and gentlemen. And where do you think all this talent and money is going? Well, it's going to be going to more, accepting countries that are open to, other religious groups. And we're going to see this in England and in the Netherlands and typically Protestant countries and Protestant areas, okay? We're going to start to see trade with their colonies really fall as we start to see competition in trade, competition in this Atlantic economy rise, especially with the Dutch and England, Protestant competitors, okay? And also the peasants who are being just taxed, relentlessly taxed, are going to be really suffering. And this is going to have major complications for Spain as well. Eventually the peasants, you can only tax your peasants, in your lower class so much before they don't have any more money. And if the peasants, don't have any more money, they can't spend it on business. And if businesses start to close, they start to, fire people. And when they fire people, those people don't have money. So that means a larger percentage of the population doesn't have money. And then, that means more businesses are going to suffer and have to fire people. And it really creates this kind of unhealthy relationship and kind of unhealthy, effect within the economy. And so this is Spain's economy is really going to take a nosedive. All right, politically and militarily, we know this. Okay, we're going to see a political and military decline. Poor leadership from kings in the 1600s. Philip II, very much in this group as well. Very poor leadership. Really got himself into some conflicts, and his unwillingness to change and be open, and kind of see the bigger picture really hurt his empire. But Philip III, Philip IV, Charles II, we're going to see really a huge decline in leadership of their monarchs. Okay, we talked about this already. The defeat of the Spanish Armada, the defeat of the Dutch Protestants. We're going to talk about their included defeat in the 30 Years' War. We're going to see the Portuguese reestablish independence. They're going to have conflicts with Spain. All right. Eventually, they're going to lose their territory of the Spanish Netherlands and Belgium and parts of the northern border of France. The big idea for us to understand, ladies and gentlemen, is they are just taking L after L after L after L after L, and really are going to lose a lot of their standing, a lot of their power in Europe, and really not become a dominant power again. And we're really going to be focusing on other countries in Europe, such as the French and England, and eventually Great Britain. Okay, they are really suffering and just taking encountering a huge loss of power during this time. Okay, and take a look at this, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, by 1700, their navy is only going to be 8 ships. Okay, and when we talk about them in the War of Spanish Succession, they're going to lose lots of their kind of other territories in Europe. Okay, at the Treaty of Utrecht. So Spain is really going to experience a very vast and rapid decline. Okay. All right. So that's it for today, ladies and gentlemen. That's it about Spain. Thank you so much. We are going to continue our next lecture on the 30 Years' War. Thank you.